Hi everyone, I'm Katia Crawford. This is Noreen Richards.
Hi everyone.
And we are really passionate about this particular project. Casa de Amigos is a halfway house, a transitional home in Albuquerque. There are three of them, 3 homes, and we're essentially designing a prototype or a garden kit for this particular house. The garden kit, as we sort of move through, you'll see has several components. What's this? What does this have to do with anything? This is Mr. McGinnis, my Taekwondo instructor. That's me in the far right. And he is the owner of these halfway houses, or he started them. He has 3 halfway houses. They are nonviolent offenders, mainly related to drugs and alcohol. And I don't know when you want to...
Well, yeah, this is just a graphic. It's a completely unscientific diagram illustrating correlations, not causations, but correlations that are already well established by people who really are social scientists between recidivism, substance abuse, and then how
poor nutrition
relates to nutrition, and how all of this, with the injection of a garden, cannot fail but to have
positive effects.
Positive benefits, and there are precedent for this.
Which is Riker's Prison Garden is one example. Right. Doing Time in the Garden is an excellent book.
Yeah. And then, meanwhile, so this is where the houses are, the red dot right there. This is a map of poverty concentration in Albuquerque, darker blue, higher concentration of poverty, and the red dot is where most of the homes are. Well, all 3 of them are in that chunk, that census tract right there. So meanwhile, I'm working on a completely separate thing where I'm looking at how does community agriculture relate to food security, poor nutrition, food security for individual families, and then how does that contribute to community health? How does it correlate to food, what we call food deserts, and these poverty concentration areas? So Carly Picarella and I are looking at census tract info, and I got a small grant from the dean. Fancy title, Potential for Synergistic Benefits Between Greenhouse Architecture and Existing Building Typologies in Metropolitan Albuquerque, which is all about how can existing buildings and greenhouses connect virtually for synergistic benefits and generate community empowerment and food security for families that live in specific neighborhoods. So this is an example, Growing Power. In Milwaukee, Will Allen is the champion of that organization. He started out by growing food, then he started growing food distribution networks, and now they grow farmers from all over the country. They come and study there. So our study was really like, what's different about Albuquerque? What would inform a community garden in Albuquerque? What about climatic conditions? What about water scarcity? What about code? What about our urban conditions? What about our cultural traditions? Would specify and sort of customize some kind of a farm. And then I embarked on, Stacy, George and I visited many greenhouses in Albuquerque all summer long, very hot work, and got some of those questions answered and met some amazing people. And then I traveled to UC Davis and saw 88 greenhouses in 3 days. And we found out that they're all really same in the physical way, but they all have to have these people, these champions. And so we identified one for Casa de Amigos.
Just Tony. So Tony went through the program and is now a house manager, and he loves to cook. And one of the things that, go ahead, Noreen.
Well, yeah, I mean, the other thing, like this is a research finding, a conclusion. There's a ton of doors in this town, and our town may not be unusual.
It will relate.
And then behind it, do you see that ginormous building? It's full of thousands of doors. There's a lot of doors. And they're cheap, and they're beautiful, and they're amazing, and they have all this sheer strength.
And apparently there are a lot of pavers, too. Yeah. We got 5,000 square feet, right, of pavers donated by Rick
Yeah, and that's about our school having some really good friends. Rick Pavers said, sure, we'll give you some pavers for your project. Just, give us some pictures of how beautiful it is when you get finished with it.
So this is the essential, this is the plan for Casa de Amigos 1, Casa 1 it's called, and Jessica Shoemaker and Jessica Johnson worked on this plan and the research involved in this, and Noreen and I have modified it some. But essentially, it's really basic. It's an 18-inch module We're using salvage doors. We're using pavers. So the salvage doors are 3 feet, pavers are 18 inches, and so everything is based off of that module. And the idea or the concept behind the design is that it's a kind of a series of outdoor rooms, that it's an extension of the house. And so this is looking into, the photograph at the top was just the other day when Noreen and I went back to check a couple of things. And it'll be looking through down to the chicken coop, a large table for eating, an herb garden, a raised vegetable garden. There will be the greenhouse, and planting beds next to the greenhouse, and potentially even cold frames. Anyway, we are hoping to start construction on this over spring break. We have a lot of materials that have been donated. It's simple. Tubular steel. The table is also would be made out of solid core doors. And then the greenhouse, aluminum storm.
Yeah, these are salvaged aluminum store doors. They already have all this structural integrity and shear strength, and they're designed to do this. And so the idea is take something that's modular, use it to make something that, again, is larger, but again, modular, but in design for a very specific function on a specific site. Does that work? We think it does. We would have to do, a batch of these to prove it. So the parts aren't new. The idea isn't new, but there might be something that kind of is unique or hopefully fairly rigorous about the result.
Moving forward, if this works, we're going to spread all over Albuquerque into schools and nursing homes and...
There's a lot of transitional housing here in town.
Housing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.